Back, Joe Volpe, publisher of Corriere Canadese and North America's only Italian language daily, on behalf of Corriere Media Group and Go Live TV with our ongoing coverage of the municipal elections, this time again, specifically in Toronto and more specifically in Etobicoke North. And I've got with me the sitting councillor, Vincent Crisanti. You can smile, it's okay.
Okay, good.
Vincent Crisanti, you want to be re-elected in Etobicoke North. Now, everybody thinks that that's sort of the private preserve of somebody else.
Yep.
Are you that somebody else?
Well, I'm that somebody, Joe. First of all, thank you very much for having me here on your show. And yeah, absolutely I am. You know, Joe, first of all, I just want to explain, who I am. I've been living in Etobicoke North with my family for 35 years.
Holy
So I got my roots there. It's a long time. Yeah,
No, it's a long time. I know there's a big Italian community there.
Absolutely, and there still is. Things have changed in demographics a bit, but there's still a great Italian community there that we interact all the time, every day. I always get calls from my Italian community, and I always return their calls or see them in their home.
So you're a guy who's accustomed to, serving the public. And that's essentially what you get to do when you're elected. You have the privilege of serving. That's a pretty humble thing. It's not that you become God. You become a servant of God. That's the people.
Well, that's a good way to describe it, because I come from a history of impeccable customer service from my previous business.
What was that?
Marketing, advertising. I was a national sales manager for a while, sales manager, and I know that you have to provide that level of service in order to succeed. And so I have that ingrained in my DNA. So when it comes to...
I saw you in action in part, and I'm sorry for interrupting you, Vince, but
yeah.
I saw you in part because you and I had a very special task. We went, you didn't come with me, you went with another group, but
right.
We went to Matera in order to effect a twinning of Toronto with one of the most ancient cities in Europe. And it's going to be the cultural capital of Europe in 2019.
Next year.
You put that together.
Absolutely, I did. So I had the group from the Municipal that come to me, and Frank Miele specifically telling me about the necessity of having an agreement, a twinning agreement between Matera and the City of Toronto. So I took the lead on that, and we put that together, and of course we met in Matera, and we signed the deal, and we signed the agreement right there in Matera. And again, and that is, to help create jobs and to help
a business environment
and to build jobs. My focus is always to help create new jobs for Etobicoke North and for the residents of Etobicoke North. And in this case,
it was for the larger city.
It was for the larger city and for the city of Matera as well, and for the Basilicata region.
Well, there was already a little business environment, the makings of a business relationship that developed. And if I'm not mistaken, maybe you know more about this, but one of those plants that we went to see, remember they were looking to establish environmental technologies.
Right.
Imagine that, a little town way down in southern Italy. They had this environmental technologies, and one of the guys that was there operates this huge plant not that far away from where you live. I think they put that thing together just a week or two ago.
They just put something recently together, yes, and so that's just an example of a successful relationship that came out of this particular mission with Matera and the City of Toronto. So, and this is what I do. I'm the only city councillor, Joe, that hosts 2 regular business roundtables a year in Etobicoke North, and to help build business in Etobicoke. When business grows, then they need to hire people, and jobs come from the business community. And I always encourage our business to hire locally. We got great talent in Etobicoke North, so I really push hard for that, because residents in Etobicoke North deserve to have good jobs, and they deserve to have them close to home.
Well, yeah, but Etobicoke North now, just so I didn't tell you this before, but I worked in Etobicoke North before you moved there.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so I was one of the co-founders at Henry Card. That place?
Father Henry Card, my kids went there, yes.
Yeah, right across from North Albion Collegiate. That was where their initial site was.
That's right.
And that used to be an environment for small and medium-sized businesses, small manufacturing. But that's most of it is gone, isn't it? Or am I wrong?
No, we have a great small, medium, and large size industrial base, in Etobicoke North, primarily on west of the Highway 27.
Right.
And those are the businesses that I work with every single day to help
You
them
still
with
have
the
all that
problems and
area
issues.
down along, what is it, Belfield and Rexdale Boulevard over on the northwest side?
Correct. Well, now, because of the new boundaries of Etobicoke North, my current boundaries only end at the river on the south side.
Okay.
But under the new restructuring of, the City Council, as you know, from 47 to 25, now it's expanded from Steeles Avenue down to Dixon Road, and on one leg of it down to Eglinton. So the whole industrial business community now in the new Ward 1 that I'll be representing, and on October 22nd, when people go out and vote for me and I, get reelected, has increased considerably. The community has increased considerably. It's going to go from 60,000 constituents to roughly 125,000.
But all of those, because
so it's grown.
So,
Yeah.
I appreciate what you're telling me, Vince, because here we were talking about a larger picture. And people have a tendency to think about the larger picture when they go to vote. But really effectively, when they're going to be talking about city councilors, they really need to talk to somebody who, like you were saying, okay, I've got to build an environment for jobs, but in order to build an environment for jobs, because we're not talking about big theory, et cetera, it's about job creation.
Correct.
And about providing services. Now, they're usually infrastructure type services, are they not? I mean, you got to make sure the traffic flows properly. You got to make sure the services, drainage, electricity, all those things are there for not only the businesses but the resident community.
Yeah,
So
so-
does that mean an increase in taxes?
Yeah, no, it doesn't.
Why
Because
not?
and the reason it doesn't is because, let me tell you, Joe, we already have an $11.2 billion operating budget.
It's a lot of money.
It is a lot of money. So what it means is, first of all, and this is why I talk about my experience and how critical it is in this election to have a candidate with the experience that I bring to the table. So it means better management of the funds that are already there and ensuring that we get our equal share. Now, in Etobicoke North, we're just getting a lot of great development coming. I spearheaded the Woodbine Racetrack expansion in July of 2015. So what that means is now, Joe, that we're going to have, because of that, that is the catalyst that will attract development, jobs, that'll create thousands of jobs because of the development.
But it's
at Woodbine.
commercial development.
700 acres.
It's not residential, is it?
The vision there, it'll be a combination of everything. The master plan includes the expansion of the casino. It includes a whole family component as well, an entertainment, it'll include a 5,000-seat entertainment center. It'll also include residential and commercial and industrial. So it's 700 acres, Joe, so it's massive, so you can do all that.
That's adjacent to a couple of other institutions that are important for anybody who lives in that area. And you'll correct me, I hope if I don't hope to be wrong, but I hope if I'm wrong, you'll correct me.
I will.
But you've got up in that area, the area you just mentioned, you've got a community college.
Correct.
And you've got a hospital.
That's right.
And both of them are magnets for other activity and for residences.
Right.
So what's going to happen with respect to any kinds of investment to the hospital and that community? Or the community college.
Well, the hospital is already undergoing massive investment, where there's about $650 million going in a complete revitalization of the hospital.
That involves a lot of infrastructure investment that only the city can approve.
That's correct, and that's where I was going with that. Because of the 700 acres development at the Woodbine Center, or the Woodbine Racetrack, there will be massive infrastructure improvement. We need the development. It's been kind of quiet up in Etobicoke North, but I've been shaking it up because we have great pockets that require revitalization, and there's other areas that I'm looking at as well. For example, the Albion Shoppers Plaza over on Albion Road in Kipling. So I've been speaking to the
Remember when
owner.
that was brand new?
Yeah, and so I've been speaking to the owners of that particular shopping center in terms of revitalizing that. We got 20 prime acres. So I've planted a lot of seeds, and I've got a lot of projects on the go. That's another reason why people need to vote me back in, so I can continue to work on these very important projects that are not only revitalize Etobicoke North, create jobs, beautify it, and bring the investment of infrastructure that we need in Etobicoke North now, not tomorrow. So I need to come back in order to continue on those projects. And one
Because,
thing,
I mean, I don't want to give you a boost, but I suppose that, having been in elected office at one point, when you get the ball rolling, you want to make sure it keeps rolling down the right alley.
That's right. And you know, there's no other candidate on the ballot that has the experience that I have to move that ball rolling forward in the way it should, so those things continue to happen and will happen.
So you're
Yeah.
running basically on experience and vision.
That's right. I have the experience, I have the vision, I have the leadership.
But that place is all completely changed. I mean, you mentioned that there's a lot of Italians in that area, and we feel good about mentioning that because that's our readership.
That's right.
But the place, as I recall it, it's got people from all over the world now. But they all have the same needs, don't they?
Yeah, of course. These are families, and it doesn't matter where you come from. And so the demographics have changed. Culturally, we have a beautiful mix of people. You know, Etobicoke North is a great example how we can live together peacefully, and there's people from every corner of the planet that lives in our community that I currently represent. And my community, my home now from Ward 1 has grown, my family has grown. And so again, it takes skill to be able to manage an area that's now more than doubled in size. But I got a great track record of success. I've not only invested heavily in infrastructure improvements when it comes to roads and sidewalks and curbs, parks. I've improved pretty much virtually almost every single park in the area that I currently represent. And then when I move over to the old Ward 2, represented by another candidate currently running, I found that the investment wasn't the same there. There are a lot of dilapidated parks, there's a lot of infrastructure improvements that are currently needed, and the residents there recognize that they need someone like me with the experience that I have that's capable of driving forward that positive investment.
So you're talking to a
helps
guy who actually
communities.
knows the area, who's worked in the area. I haven't lived in the area. A lot of my former students still live in the area. I've gone there on several occasions. I think I understand what you're talking about, but you know, you're headed right down the path of saying, you know, a lot of things that one would expect somebody to say. But it's so.
That's right.
I've run out of time. That's
You
it.
have.
And you've been really good, but aside from running on experience
Sure,
and vision.
sure.
And would you say leadership?
Leadership,
Okay,
absolutely.
those three things. What else do you want to say before we sign off?
Well, before we sign off, I'm going to sort of recap what you just said, Joe, to the audience that's out there. It's important that people recognize that leadership does matter, experience matters. There are, in order to drive forward these very important projects that I've not only started, but to have the vision to ensure that more investment is that's necessary to build strong, healthy communities. We need the kind of leadership and experience that I bring to the table.
So if there are two words that you had to use to sum up everything, what would they be?
I would say vote for me, vote for Vincent Crisanti. You'll be voting for someone that'll come to your door when you need somebody to assist you with any problems in your community.
Vince, you're a
My
great
results,
guy.
My
You're a-
results speak for itself.
I said 2 words and you went and gave me 3 sentences. All right.
All right.
Vince, thank you very much. This is Joe Volpe on behalf of Corriere Canadese, Corriere Media Group, Go Live TV, inviting you to follow us online, social media, and of course on our hard copy, Corriere Canadese. Signing off and thanking Vince Crisanti. Good luck to
Thank
you.
you, Joe.
I know it's going to be
Appreciate it.
tough next 4 or 5 days, but you better wear out those shoes. Take care.
Okay.
Good luck.